Hi, 8th grade. Welcome to your last lesson of Topic 8, Find Volume of Spheres. By the end of the lesson, I want you to be able to say, I can find the volume of a sphere and use it to solve problems. Marshall uses the beaker to fill the bowl with water. The height is 4 inches and the radius is 2 inches. And then there's the water ball that is a radius of 2 inches. Draw and label three-dimensional figures to represent the beaker and the bowl. Well, the beaker is like a cone, and the bowl is a sphere. So we have a cone, and we have a sphere. Marshall has to fill the beaker twice to completely fill the bowl with water. How can you use an equation to represent the volume of the bowl? So 2 times the cone is equal to the sphere. So the volume, so 2 times the volume of a cone, which we know is 1/3 pi r squared h, is equal to the volume of the sphere. And the height, actually, if you think about the height of the cone, the height of the cone is the same height as this, but it's 2 radius. So radius, radius. So if we take the height and instead of using h, we could plug in 2r. That would make the formula 2 times 1/3 pi r squared 2r. If I wanted to combine some things, I could multiply 2 times 1/3 times 2 by putting the 2's over 1. So 2 times 2 is 4 over 3 pi r squared times r is r to the 3rd power. Then we have the volume for a sphere. How are the volume of a sphere and the volume of a cone related? What must be true about the radius and the height measurements for this relationship to be valid? So just like I just said, the height has to be equal to twice the radius. So the height is the same thing as the diameter of the sphere. And the volume of a sphere is twice the volume of the cone, which we said right here. All right, example number 1. Tay fills the gumball machine using 2 full cone-shaped scoops. The globe of the gumball machine and the scoop have the same radius and height. How can Tay find a formula to calculate the volume of the gumball machine globe? So like I just told you, the formula for a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So just like our step 1 is always to write the formula. Then we're going to plug in what we know. Well, the only thing we need to plug in is the radius, which is 6. Then we do our exponent, 6 to the 3rd power. That is the same thing as saying 6 times 6 times 6, which is 216. We can put that 216 over 1, multiply straight across. So 4 times 216 is 864. Ooh. 864 over 3 times pi. And then if you do 864 divided by 3, that gives you 288 pi. Using 3.1 for pi, we get 90.32 cubic inches. Let's try it. What is the volume of a ball with a diameter of 6 centimeters? If our diameter is 6 centimeters, we cut that in half to get our radius. Step 1, write the formula. Step 2, substitute our variables. Well, the only variable we have to substitute in for is our radius, which is 3. And the next step is to do 4/3 pi, and we do 3 to the 3rd power first. So that's 3 times 3 times 3, which just gives us 27. Then we are going to multiply, make 27 over 1. And 4 times 27 is 108, and 3 times 1 is 3, so we have 108 over 3 pi. We do 108 divided by 3, and that gives us 36 pi. Then using 3.14 for pi, we get 113.04 centimeters cubed. How is the volume of a sphere related to the volume of the cone that has the same circular base and height? The sphere is 2 times the cone. Okay, example number 2. Find the volume of a sphere given the surface area. What is the volume of a soccer ball rounded to the nearest whole number? Use 3.14 for pi. So this is a couple more steps. So this goes back to surface area like we talked about. Remember that surface area, here's the formula for surface area, and we need to work backwards. So we know the surface area is equal to 1,519.76, and we want to solve for r squared. So you're going to divide both sides by 4 pi. So that's why they divided by 4 times 3.14. It would cancel out on the right-hand side and just leave us r squared. So we have 121 equals r squared, and remember we can do that square root button on your calculator to get that the radius is about 11 centimeters. Now we plug that 11 into our radius of a sphere. So plugging 11 in, we have to do exponent first, substitute. Then exponent 11 times 11 times 11 is 1,331. Then we can multiply, put 1,331 over 1, multiply straight across. 4 times 1,331 gives us 5,324, and 3 times 1 equals 3. So then that's times 3.14 is pi, so the volume is 5,572. Example number 3, find the volume of a composite figure. So a composite figure is a figure made up of more than one shape. So a composite figure is a combination of 2 or more figures onto one object. A corn silo is an example of a composite figure in the shape of a cylinder with a hemisphere of same diameter on the top. The diameter of this silo is 4 meters. How many cubic meters of corn can be stored in the silo? Use 3.14 for pi. So we have to do 2 things. We have to do the hemisphere, which is half a sphere, and there's the cylinder. So we're going to do 2 of them together and then add them. So first, find the volume of the hemisphere. So we have to multiply the volume of a sphere times 1/2, because it's only half of it. So we do 1/2 times 4/3, plug in our radius of 2, have to do the exponent first. 2 to the 3rd power is equal to 8. Put that 8 over 1, 4 times 8, and 2 times 3. 4 times 8 is 32, and 2 times 3 is 6, which can both be reduced by 2 to give us this nice 16 over 3 pi. So the volume of the hemisphere is 16 over 3 pi cubic meters. Then we find the volume of the cylinder is pi r squared h. So there's 2 squared and h is 10. The height is 10. Do the exponent first. 2 squared is 4. Then multiply, and the volume of the cylinder is 40 pi. So now we can add those together, 16 over 3 pi plus 40 pi. Well, to add those together, we have to have the same denominator. So I want to change 40 over 1 to be over 3. So that's going to be 40 times 3 is 120 over 1. So that's 16 over 3 pi plus 120 over 3. Oops, this was supposed to be 3 pi. Add them together, we get 136 over 3 pi, which is about 142.3 cubic meters. Let's try it. What is the volume of the composite figure shown? Use 3.14 for pi. So we have a hemisphere plus a cone. So we have to do them separately and then add them together. So the hemisphere is half of a sphere, so it's 1/2 of 4/3 pi r squared, pi r cubed, plus the cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. So our first step is to write our formula. Second step is to substitute. So we're going to keep that 1/2, keep the 4/3. Let's keep pi and change it to 3.14 at the end so we don't have to round as much. And the radius is 2 to the 3rd power, plus 1/3. Again, we're going to keep pi until the end. 2 squared times height is 6. Now I'm going to do my exponents, so keep the 1/2 times the 4/3. Pi 2 to the 3rd power is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, plus 1/3 pi 2 squared is 2 times 2, which is 4 times 6. Okay, next step is to multiply. So I'm going to put the 8 over 1. I get 1 times 4. 4 times 8 is 32 over 6 pi, plus, put the 4 and the 6 over 1. 4 times 6 is 24 over 3 pi. I need them to have a common denominator. I see that I can reduce both 32 and 6 by 2. That gives me 16 over 3 pi plus 24 over 3 pi, which is equal to 40 over 3 pi. So then I do 40 over 3 times 3.14 over 1. 40 times 3.14 equals 125.6 over 3. I divide and I get the answer of 41.87 inches cubed. And I just rounded to the nearest hundredth. Okay, 8th grade, let's do the key concept quick. Tricked ya. Key concept: the volume of a sphere is twice the volume of the cone that has the same circular base and height. The formula for volume of the sphere with radius r is 4/3 pi r cubed. Let's say it. I can find the volume of a sphere and use it to solve problems. Have a great day.